Drama, betrayal, and sabotage. My maid of honor turned toxic, and I had to take control. From manipulative behavior to ruining my wedding plans, find out how I handled the chaos and escaped the madness. If you're dealing with a toxic friend, you won't want to miss this. The story begins. At this point, I can't deny it anymore. Jess is a hot mess. She's one of those people who airs everything on Facebook, the fights, the heartbreaks, the drama, and seems to have a new love of her life every month. Every few months, there's also a new best friend, but her relationships and friendships usually end in flames, with both sides hating each other. How did I end up being her best friend? Well, she wasn't always like this. When I met Jess 5 years ago, she was pretty normal, just your average 20-something dealing with the usual drama. But the last couple of years have been brutal for her. She lost her mom to cancer and her grandpa shortly after that. She has no other family, dropped out of school, and found out her boyfriend at the time was cheating on her. She hit rock bottom. I was there for her, trying to be a shoulder to cry on during one of the lowest points in her life. That was my first mistake. A few months later, she started telling everyone we were so close and tagging me on social media as her best friend. I didn't have the heart to tell her otherwise because honestly, I felt sorry for her. Then I got engaged a few months ago. Unbeknownst to me, Jess started telling people she was my maid of honor. I had always planned on asking my sister to be my maid of honor, but this was right after Jess lost her mom, and I couldn't bring myself to say no. So, I improvised and said I'd have 2 maids of honor. It wasn't what I wanted, but I told myself it was the right thing to do. Big mistake. Around the same time, Jess met a guy. 2 weeks later, they were engaged. A week after that, they were married. A month later, they were divorced, or separated. I honestly don't even know if the marriage was legal, but she changed her last name, and she's still going by that name, so I guess it was. Ever since her divorce, my own wedding planning has become unbearable. Jess constantly goes on about how marriage doesn't work, how love can't fix everything, and so on. She criticizes how much I'm spending on my wedding because hers only cost a few $100s. A Vegas wedding, of course. When I bring her to vendor meetings, she's rude and condescending, but if I don't bring her, she gets upset because, as she says, I'm the maid of honor. I'm at my wit's end. I want to cut her out of the wedding, like I should have done from the start, but when I vented about it to a mutual friend, they warned me to be careful. Apparently, Jess can be really vindictive. She once tried to sabotage an ex's wedding by lying to his fiancée about him cheating. He wasn't. Another time, she got a former best friend fired by creating fake email accounts and filing endless complaints to her workplace. The problem is, Jess already knows so much about my wedding. I'm terrified she'll try to sabotage it if I push her out. I feel like this wedding is spiraling out of my control, but I don't know if it'd be less painful to just keep her involved and avoid the drama. I'm stuck between protecting my wedding and saving myself from her wrath. User 1 replied, I don't know what to do. Cut this girl out of your life. Do you want to be on tiptoes for the rest of your wedding planning, your marriage, your life because of this vindictive girl? It's hella rude to nominate yourself as maid of honor, or even as an invitee to the wedding, yeesh, and she should have no say over any of your decisions. Kick her out of your wedding, warn your fiancé and family that she may spread rumors, and block her on every form of social media. Also, let all your vendors know that you are the sole contact person and decision maker. You are the only one that can confirm or deny location, time, order, etc. That should hopefully prevent any sabotage on her part. After all that is done, let out a relieved breath and enjoy your life without this toxic person. Original post author responded, Thank you for the advice. I was actually considering the password thing, but I don't know if that's taking things too far. I guess I'm kind of worried about vendors resenting me for being high maintenance. But I hear about bridezillas/momzillas/in-lawzillas all the time, so hopefully this isn't the worst they've seen. Another one responded, Yes, do this. I am a wedding vendor, coordinator at a facility. Just tell your vendor. Either you're a high-maintenance bride or you aren't. But this small, simple request definitely won't be what determines that. And most companies have a place on the contract to list authorized users anyway. If the person's name isn't on that list, they don't get to change a darn thing without me calling the bride and making sure it's her decision. Third user responded, I ended up having to do this with my venue after some ILs tried some very minor shenanigans. They were seriously overjoyed to password protect. They said they've seen a lot of crazy stuff go down over the years, and they were happy I was being proactive, because when things get out of hand, they have to scramble to try to fix it for you. Just do it. They want you, their customer, to be happy with their final work. Another one responded, be calm and polite when you make the request. A lot of bridezilla behavior comes with rudeness and aggressiveness, which is what people hate, and say that you want to have this password system to avoid any issues later on due to conflicts that have arisen. Besides, this password thing is probably going to be as easy as them writing a note on your order, do not cancel without password Engelbert being given. Another one replied, who cares? Your password request is not a high-maintenance one. You don't appear to be a bridezilla. You're not making endless demands. You need to be more assertive. Another user said, this is not out of the norm. When we rented tuxes for my wedding, the lady helping me told me I needed to create a passphrase, and I laughed and asked why. She told me I'd be surprised by how nasty people can be, like women coming in trying to change colors and sizes to screw things up. Better safe than sorry, but I'm positive you won't seem like a bridezilla after you explain your side. BW, congrats. Another user said, Jesus, just tell her, Jess, you knew him for 3 weeks before you married him. What in the ever-loving world did you think was going to happen? If I've only been seeing a girl for 3 weeks, I won't even poop with her in a half-mile radius. Original post author responded, seriously, the week before the wedding, everyone was kindly saying, you sure? You've known him for awfully short time. And she responded, everyone's jealous because they can't be us. Another user said, sounds like you need to have a very uncomfortable talk with this girl. Tell her what you told us here, and let her know her negative attitude has no place in planning your wedding. You're sorry things aren't working out for her, but she is not allowed to pile this stuff on you. Tell her that you cannot have her as a maid of honor, and since she seems to think so negatively about marriage, you wouldn't expect her to do this. Up to you if you even let her attend the wedding as a guest. Original post author responded, oh my God, I haven't even thought about explaining how her negative attitude towards marriage could be the excuse for not having her in the wedding party. That sounds ridiculously logical, but I've been blinded by a flurry of crazy. Thank you. Another one said, don't get caught in the trap of her promising she'll be better and more positive. So can she, pretty please, be back in the wedding? Some people go through tough times and they find the strength to overcome it. This person hasn't. She's not going to change anytime in the near future. She's a black hole of negativity, and you need to stop letting her drag you down, no matter what she says or promises. Her word is worthless. Cutting her off now saves you the pain of having to cut her off later. As others have said, protect yourself first, though. Prepare your family, in-laws, friends, vendors, and employer with what's about to happen first, and listen to your gut. Deep down, you knew she was trouble, but you ignored it to take the easy way out for her and yourself. That dishonesty has only hurt you both. Last bit of advice. Consider having your fiancé or friend nearby when you give her the news. Good luck. Another user replied, I could have written this a few years ago. Let me tell you how it ends. She ruins your wedding by throwing a sobbing fit over her ex-husband and embarrasses you beyond belief. A few months later, she tries to ruin your marriage by subtly causing issues. One day you snap and go no contact. Once she's gone, you're a lot happier. Just go no contact now. Save yourself. Another user said, make a list about things she can ruin if you dump her as a maid of honor. Can you talk to your HR, your family, friends, vendors, and boyfriend and tell them that you are expecting that she tries to get revenge? Explore the possibilities and weigh the cons and the pros. If your HR or boss tells you that you can be fired if there is a bad review of your performance or something like that, lay low and try to make a fade out after the wedding. If your HR or boss assure you that you will not have to worry for anonymous reviews, go with the dumping. And don't forget to tip your friends, family, fiance, and the vendors because she can try to cancel your appointments or your venue. Check also if she can ruin your car or if she has keys to your house. Change passwords if you think that she could have access to them. In conclusion, be proactive and paranoid. You can have a brainstorming with friends, and I'm sure they will think a lot of ways of covering more. Yet another one said, follow everybody else's advice, contacting your vendors and password protecting everything. Because she has pulled shit with people's employers, let your boss know that there is a crazy woman who may be contacting the company with complaints about you. And when you get married, make sure you have people from the venue who know not to let crazy in if she shows up. If she does show, swiftly call the cops. One more user replied, I'm kind of late to this party, but for what it's worth, I recently went through a similar experience with a girl that sounds a lot like this friend of yours. Seriously, I thought I was reading about the same person at first. She was nice at first, friends for years, and I thought we were very close. Over the past few years, though, her behavior got out of control, and instead of ever being happy for me, she would rag on my decisions constantly and put me down to build herself up purely out of jealousy. I gave her so many opportunities to talk to me about her issues or explain to her how her behavior was starting to affect our friendship, but she only got worse. People like them see everyone else moving forward in life while they're still stuck, and it makes them even worse. She would literally go out of her way to bring others down. We attended a wedding together for a mutual friend, and she acted like a nightmare the entire time. She started crying mid-reception because she had recently gotten dumped, aka she needed some attention, wore a completely inappropriate outfit, sky-high stilettos, and complained about everything the entire time, from the venue to the poor bride's dress. She couldn't stand the attention not being on her for 5 seconds. It was a total nightmare, and I was mortified to be associated with her there. It was a horribly one-sided relationship, and despite being friends with her for years, that wedding was my final straw. I tried talking to her one more time, and she got furious with me for not being considerate to her feelings, and started railing on me. I hung up on her that minute and have never looked back. Seriously, you wouldn't believe the weight that you feel when you drop that negativity. Other people are right. She will try to sabotage you, but it's your wedding and it's your life. You deserve the wedding of your dreams, not some crying, hot mess friend trying to steal the show. Toxic is the best word to describe her. I've had other girls come out of the woodwork who didn't want to be around before because I was friends with such a terrible person. Again, it's your day, and this girl obviously doesn't care about your happiness. Even if she does try to spread rumors, I'm sure most people are aware of how insane she can be and will ignore her like they did with my old friend. Congrats on the wedding, too. I hope it works out for you. Update to the original story. Guys, 3 months later, this went full-blown crazy. Before I could have a conversation with Jess, she confronted me about it. Apparently, the mutual I confided in let the whole story leak, and a twisted, more dramatic version made its way back to Jess. Shit, meet fan. It was an hour or two of me trying to explain to Jess in a somewhat calm manner that I felt she had overstepped her boundaries, and it was really taking a mental toll on me, while she yelled about what a terrible friend I was and how she's tired of putting all of her faith in the wrong people, and how she was tired of trying her best to be a good maid of honor. I made the mistake of pointing out that I had never asked her to be my maid of honor in the first place, and she responded with, well, then I must be delusional. The first step is admitting you have a problem. So, progress? Needless to say, we aren't on speaking terms. Shortly after that, I took all of your advice and called all of my wedding vendors and let them know that my fiancé and I were going to be the only people making any decisions, and set up a confirmation word with them. Apparently this shit happens a lot because nobody even asked why. I accidentally forgot to contact the bakery making our cake, but luckily they called me and asked if I was certain I wanted to cancel the wedding cake. Apparently there was a voicemail left on their machine. Wonder how that happened. Here's where things get really nuts. A few weeks after our blow-up, she apparently met some guy who is the love of her life. A few weeks after that, they're engaged. I can't make this shit up. She did it again. Then our mutual friends get invitations for her wedding, which is the same date as mine. But since they had RSVP'd for my wedding, a lot of them couldn't make it. A few days before her wedding, they have to cancel because he's already married. And you know what? So is she. I guess she never got officially divorced from that first quickie wedding. So as far as I know, no wedding actually happened. I have no idea if they still plan to. I'm just glad to be away from that circus. But anyways, I got married a few weeks ago. Everything was wonderful. The weather was great, and everyone present was a joy to be around. Except maybe my uncle, who gets a little too dancy when he's drunk, but, family. Thank you to everyone who responded, and to everyone letting me know I'm not helping matters by going with the flow. I will be actively practicing caution when making friends, by running from crazy and not comforting it. Anyone else in a similar situation, here's the thing. Trust your gut. Don't let anyone manipulate you into thinking you owe them something, especially when they're clearly only looking out for themselves. If you're dealing with a toxic person in your life, whether it's a friend or family member, take the steps you need to protect your peace and your big day. You deserve to have the wedding and life you want, free from negativity and chaos. Drop a comment if you've had a similar experience or if you have any more advice to share. I'd love to hear how you handled it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you can catch more updates on my journey. Thanks for all the support. See you next time. Wow, you guys weren't kidding about the level of crazy I was dealing with. To everyone who shared their advice, thank you for helping me take control of the situation. Honestly, it feels like a weight has been lifted off my shoulders. Jess has definitely shown her true colors, and I'm so relieved to be done with that drama. But for anyone else in a similar situation, here's the thing. Trust your gut. Don't let anyone manipulate you into thinking you owe them something, especially when they're clearly only looking out for themselves. If you're dealing with a toxic person in your life, whether it's a friend or family member, take the steps you need to protect your peace and your big day. You deserve to have the wedding and life you want, free from negativity and chaos. Drop a comment if you've had a similar experience or if you have any more advice to share. I'd love to hear how you handled it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you can catch more updates on my journey. Thanks for all the support. See you next time.